Hello, everybody. This is Vince Russo, and I am here with my buddy, my second wife of some 26 years, but let's call a spade a spade. If I was married to this man, I'm sure, Vito, I would be the wife because, bro, you are a gorilla. You would eat me for lunch. You would slap me around when I stepped out of line. So let me set the record straight. I'm the wife. He's the husband. 26-year relationship. It all started with Vicious Vincent's World of Wrestling, and I'm talking to the great big Vito LaGrasso. Vito, how you doing tonight, my friend?
I am doing fine. The Pavarotti of hard shots to the body is ready to go for another live session of Getting Color. And Vince, tonight I guess we start off with a bad thing. Our good friend, my good friend, Bobby the Brain Heenan passed away tonight. A mentor to me, a friend, somebody who took care of me when I was a rookie in the WWF back in 1991. Somebody who took care of my family. Him, along with Kurt Hennig, always came out, always made sure my previous wife and kids were very good and taken care of. They always were good to me. Everybody was kind. The one thing I wanted to say about Bobby Heenan, when I finally made it to WCW and he was there, he gave me a lot of encouragement. And the time when I won my first singles title and I was trying to decide how to wear the belt, he always told me, he says, Vito, you always want to have the belt around your waist. I said, why is that, Bobby? He says, because when you're in a fight, you always want to have your hands free. And if anybody noticed in WCW, my belt never came off my waist unless I took it off, if people remember vividly. And I used every snap, every click on that belt, and I always took that to heart. I never forgot his words. And anytime I won a title after that, I always had that belt around my waist, and I never took it off unless I took it off. So Bobby Heenan, thank you very much for being a mentor, a friend, somebody who taught me in the business. And it's a great loss today for not only myself, but your family.
Yeah, Vito, let me tell you a little something about Bobby Heenan, and I just said this on Twitter. Bro, Heenan's one of those guys, a legend in the business. Bro, listen, a lot of guys in our business, a lot of them die prematurely, a lot of them die young. Bobby was only 72, bro. That's young. But of course it was natural causes. We all know that he was dealing with cancer and whatnot. But bro, very rarely will I say that this is somebody that could never be replaced. Because, bro, like somebody else always comes along. But I can honestly sit here and say Bobby Heenan is one of those guys, irreplaceable, bro, will never be replaced. And will never be another. And let's face it, bro, I can't, Vito, I got to be honest. I loved Heenan and I loved his work. I can't sit here and say, in my opinion, the greatest manager of all time. I will say the last greatest manager of all time. That's it. The art of managing has now died with Bobby Heenan. He was the last great one. And the reason why I say that, bro, is because, listen, man, go back a few years before, the Captain Lou Albano and Freddie Blassie, Albano, Blassie, and Heenan, bro. Perhaps the three greatest wits in professional wrestling history. And, Heenan carried on that tradition from, when you had the Grand Wizard, when you had Blassie, when you had, Captain Lou. Nobody's going to carry it on from here on in. The art of managing and the wit and the comedic genius of Bobby Heenan, bro, when everybody wants fake wrestling to be real, all that is a thing of the past. So that's why I say, Vito, without a shadow of a doubt, I can say he's irreplaceable. There will never, ever be another person like Bobby Heenan.
No, they definitely won't. And the managers you mentioned, the Grand Wizard, Captain Lou Albano, and Arnold Skolin to some extent because he managed Bruno. Uh, Bobby Heenan was definitely the greatest bumping manager of all time. Somebody who could talk somebody who had something for every different person he managed. But when it came time to making his spots and doing his thing in the ring, it always was a high spot for him where he would antagonize, kick, punch. But when he had to take a bump, he took a bump and he made it mean something, something that's not taught today. And you are absolutely right. He will never be duplicated. It's going to be good to see how the WWE presents this to the people, what they do for him in the future, if they induct him in the Hall of Fame and sing his praise. I think he's a shoo-in to go in. I hope tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw, they give him a good send-off or a monologue. And I just hope they do it right with him this time and not like they did with a lot of other wrestlers or managers who passed away where they didn't give their credit where credit's due.
I got to tell you a great story about Heenan, bro. And this meant a lot to me. This meant a lot to me, Vito. Because, bro, I sit here and I talk a lot about just there's so much freaking hatred in the business, bro. I got to be honest with you. Yesterday, I'm going to tell you about this in a second, but I'm at a show in freaking Nashville, minding my own business, bro, trying to make myself as accessible as I can to the young talent back there, talking to them, letting them pick my brain, whatever they want. I mean, that's the point I'm on at my career. And all of a sudden, bro, like I always check my Twitter. I try to check in, and bro, I go on my Twitter, and what am I reading on my Twitter? I'm reading Hacksaw Jim Duggan, tweeting out about how I killed two companies with WCW and TNA. And it really disturbed me. And I'll tell you why it disturbed me, bro. And then I'm going to get to my Bobby Heenan story. It'll bridge, but this is going to tell you the difference between like a Duggan or a Heenan or a love or a hate. It's going to show you the difference. And this is what I want to tell you. Vito, when I was growing up with WWE, just like you, bro, I was a huge fan of Hacksaw Jim Duggan. When Hacksaw Jim Duggan was in his freaking prime, bro, there was nobody better. I was a huge fan of Duggan, okay? Vito, when I went to WCW, Duggan was under contract. They were not using him. So I wanted to figure out a way to put Jim Duggan on TV, because to me, he was a legend. He was a guy the business was built on. He was under contract with WCW. Now, he was a little older at the time. Obviously, he wasn't in his prime, but I wanted to figure out a way that I could put him on TV. So, bro, I figured out a way to put him on TV where, I gave him a janitorial job, but like in that role, bro, he was getting the best of me. Like I can remember one vignette, as it was yesterday, was I told him to clean up my bathroom or something like that, bro. And sure enough, he went in there and I think he stuck my toothbrush in the toilet bowl. So I go in there 2 minutes later, and of course I use the same toothbrush to brush my teeth. So like I was putting him, because of my character, I was putting him in a role where I was degrading him, but of course the old veteran was getting over on me. I mean, that was the deal. That was the story. And, then we did a pretty good storyline too, where like for some reason, I think we made him denounce Canada. I can't remember exactly, but bro, the whole time I was there working with Doug and Vito, he never came up to me and said, Vince, I don't like the creative. I don't like you. I think you're a jackass. Never one time. Of course, bro, when we go our separate ways, all of a sudden I got to read all these freaking interviews about how he hates Vince Russo. Vince Russo killed WCW. Vince Russo killed TNA. I don't know how he knows anything about TNA. He never worked there. I mean, I worked for that company for 10 years. I think I know what led to its demise. It certainly wasn't the freaking writer when we had the company up to 2 million viewers. And I think that's clear to everybody. The creative did not freaking kill TNA. But my point is, bro, all of a sudden I'm reading, and I got to tell you, Vito, it's breaking my heart because I truly respect this man and still do. Never said a cross word about him and never will say a cross word about him. I won't do it. I have nothing bad to say about the guy. And it really hurts me. And, bro, a couple of years ago, Vito, I was at a convention and he was at the same one. And I saw him there and I said, you know what? I'm going to confront him later. I'm going to go up to him later. I'm going to apologize. If I got anything to apologize for, I'm going to apologize. Unfortunately, when I went back, he had already left because everybody was there for a couple hours. Here's my point, Vito. And here's what I'll always remember about Heenan. Bro, we will work in WCW. And Heenan, when I started at WCW, Tony and Bobby Heenan were the announcers. Okay, Vito? Vito, my first 3 months on the job, there was some rumblings about wanting to replace Bobby Heenan because, bro, I'm just going to be honest here. And I mean, everybody that knows him knew him. Bro, Bobby liked his alcohol and Bobby liked to drink. And, some people were starting to say, he wasn't 100% with his wits when he went on the air. I was starting to hear rumblings like this. And there was a little bit of a movement to replace Bobby Heenan. And Vito, on my children, my wife in the other room, your wife, I sat there and I said, wait a minute, everybody, hold on. This is Bobby Heenan, bro. This is Bobby the Brain Heenan. We're not replacing Bobby Heenan. I'm sorry. If you think there's an issue with Bobby, then let's sit down and talk about it. We're not replacing Bobby. Okay, bro? Vito, 3 months I went home from WCW. In my absence, they replaced Bobby Heenan with Mark Madden. And anybody can go back and see. Russo's last show was with Heenan. When Russo came back, Mark Madden was on the show. Bro, somehow or another, and Vito, you know how I am with these freaking old timers, bro, the place in my heart. I just worked with Tracy Smothers last night. Somehow, some way, bro, when I come back to WCW and, I see these Heenan interviews and, bro, he's blaming me for him being replaced as an announcer on WCW. Vito, I was nowhere around. I had absolutely nothing to do with it. Nothing can replace the respect I have for these legends. And Vito, this really hurt me. It hurt me tremendously that, somebody must, in order, bro, you know how it is reflecting heat, Vito. So in order for somebody to reflect the heat, they probably said it was Russo's decision. Bro, I was nowhere around. And Vito, this bothered me for years and years and years. And bro, I'll never forget this. Not many years ago, Vito, maybe 8 years ago. I guess that is a long time ago. Bobby came to one of our shows. And bro, this is when he was sick and he had the surgery and he couldn't talk anymore and all that stuff. But Vito, I hadn't seen him in a long time. I hadn't seen him. So, and I wanted to go up to him and say, Bobby, I just have to tell you, whether you want to believe me or not, it wasn't me. Like you are a god to me, bro. I was the guy protecting you. I mean, that's what I wanted to tell him. So, bro, he was very good friends with Mike Tenay. So I went up to Mike because I didn't want to go directly to Bobby because if he had this heat with me, you know how it is, Vito, And I said, I said, Mike, please be the buffer. Please go to Bobby and please tell Bobby that I want to talk to him. Please. Mike Tenay was more than happy to, more than happy to. So Mike went to Bobby. He told Bobby, Vince would like to talk to you, this and the other thing. Now, Vito, I got to be honest with you. When Mike came and said, okay, I had heard Bobby was there. I did not see him. So now, Vito, when I went to go see him, it was the first time I had seen him since Nitro. Right. And bro, he looked like a totally different person. So the first thing that happened, Vito, is my heart broke. Like my heart was broken. And I realized I'm not going to bring up any of the past. I am just going to tell this man I love him. It's great to see you, Bobby. You're a legend. You meant so much to me, in my life and working for you. Yeah, that's all I wanted to do. But, bro, I got to tell you, when I went up to him and I met him, Vito, he greeted me with open arms. And he gave me a big hug. And whatever heat there was or whatever he thought, bro, obviously something like cancer is going to change a man. And it's going to really make us understand what the hell's important in life, what's not. But, bro, the fact that he embraced me and gave me a big hug, I can't tell you what that freaking meant to me. And it's like I said, bro, I don't want to pick on Hacksaw Jim Duggan, but it's like I'm reading these tweets last night, and, bro, I'm a 56-year-old guy. I know Duggan's a little older than me. It's like, guys, gals, people, we don't have a lot of time on this freaking earth, man. We really don't have a lot of time on this earth, and we have so much time to put across positive energy and love and reinforcement and, telling our brothers, it's okay, and, making people feel good about themselves. Bro, there's just no room for that. And like I said, bro, I was so happy that when Bobby was at that point of his life, like, I was able to go up to him. I was able to give him a big hug. I was able to tell him that I loved him, and it meant so much to me. But, bro, bro, we don't realize, Vito, we just don't realize that life is so freaking short. 72 years old is nothing. It is absolutely nothing. And how we spend that time and the mark we leave here on this earth, it means everything. And that's the one thing I'll always remember about Heenan. And, bro, you talk about the mark, leaving a mark on this earth, the millions and millions and decades of people he entertained. You were a kid, and all of a sudden you're an adult, and he's entertaining your kids. And what a wit, bro. Just what a amazing wit. But, guys, I'm telling you, man, it's so hard to say, bro, but you got to think about, like, every day being your last day on this earth. And what do I want to leave? What do I want to leave behind? What do I want somebody to say, hey, you know what? I just spoke to Vince last night, and he said what? So that's what I really loved Bobby for, bro, because it meant a lot to me.
Well, you know what? He did have an effect on a lot of people, and not just, like you said, not just wrestlers, not just coworkers, not just people he worked with, but the world. And when you can touch the world and you touch the hearts of people, you've really accomplished something in this universe. And I'm sure that every one of us listening here on a podcast, everybody else, around the world, feels a little lost, because everybody did grow up with Bobby Heenan. People watched him, people admired him, people loved to see him, people look at the old days, see the great stuff they did. I mean, the Hogan Andre turn where, Heenan was the manager of Andre, turning that big monster into a heel against Hogan, ripping the cross off of Hogan's chest, Heenan standing there, them going down in WrestleMania in that cart as they're going towards the ring, the big slam, Heenan on the sideline, Heenan doing all his antics, Heenan thinking he had the power, when he had all the mega heels behind him. It was a great thing in wrestling. It will never be forgotten. And like you said, for everything and everybody he has touched, he definitely left a mark in the world and on the universe. And I hope he's given the proper send-off by the people he worked for throughout the world. And really can't say too much more. I mean, it's definitely a loss. And as far as Jim Duggan goes, he's been around a long time. And I could say company policy, you say what you have to say to keep your job, you do your thing. And, Jim's a good family man. Jim's a good husband. He raised two good daughters. I know his family. I know him personally. And I mean, if he had ill feelings towards you, hey, you can't please everybody. Good feelings towards you, you know why you were there. Hey, he was doing his job. But you know what, people? It's just like I've been saying for weeks that I've been on this podcast. You can't blame Vince Russo for everything. And every time somebody's got something to complain about, they complain about Vince Russo. Give the guy a break, guys. You know what? I'm friends with all the wrestlers and I'm friends with all the guys. You might not like me for my stand in life and what I'm doing, but it's to benefit everybody. But when you see me in person, everybody's got a hug. I have respect. Everybody shows the love. I really don't have any I don't have any enemies in wrestling. If you dislike me for something, hey, fine. Great. It doesn't matter. You know why? It doesn't put food on my table. It doesn't make an impact on my life. If I impacted your life that much that you still hold a grudge, hey, I wasn't trying to do that. But you know what? If that's the way you feel, so be it. Vince, you need to take the high road. If people want to tweet and they want to do these things, take the high road. It doesn't put food on your table. It doesn't support your family. It doesn't make or break your life. Just like me. I just turn my face, and like you said, everybody who sees my tweets, everybody sees my posts, everybody sees Vito LaGrasso is the most positive person on the planet. And if I could put the Wizard of Oz cast as being a positive thing in my life, and people say, hey, bro, you put the Wizard of Oz as your people. Those are my people, because that's how I grew up. The Wizard of Oz was one of my favorite
Very
stuff.
nice. Wizard of Oz. Bro.
Here you go.
I got to tell you something, Vito. You'd be freaking laughing at me this morning because I got to tell you, bro. I worked this little show in Nashville yesterday. New Freedom. I'm going to give them a little plug. New Freedom Pro Wrestling in Nashville, Tennessee. They run out of the old fairgrounds where we did TNA. A great little organization. A couple guys run it, Riley and Julian. Really good guys. But, Vito, you'd be freaking dying, bro, because, bro, I had a special guest referee a match. Vito, that's all I did. I special guest refereed. There were no bumps involved. I literally refereed a match, called it down the middle. I had to hit the canvas a couple of times and do the old 1-2. I had to pull a weapon out of somebody's hand. That was the extent of it, bro. Bro, I woke up out of bed this morning and could barely freaking walk. The pain I was in, my back, bro, just from going up and down on a mat, making a freaking 2 count, Vito. A 2 count. I got back pain all day today, bro.
You're not doing your Pilates like we talked about. You know, you're just not doing it.
Oh my, I couldn't believe it, bro. I'm like, oh my God, bro. Hitting the mat and doing a 2 count, and I got my back's killing me.
I don't understand.
Well, Vito, listen. What?
I just don't get it. You're not. You can't bend. You can't walk. You can't write. You can't do nothing.
Write for sure.
What are you doing? The last thing you got is this podcast. That's it.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do, Vito.
Okay.
I'm gonna do what I always do. Tonight, I may put the final nail in Vince Russo ever working for the WWE again. Because, Vito, you know, bro, listen, this goes back to the Italian, the paisans, bro. That's what this goes back. Here's what paisans represent, Vito, is pride. We have great pride. No matter what we're doing, we go balls to the wall. Look at Vito. Vito just got into freaking podcasting and social media, and look at what he's doing. He's on social media every day. I see him on social media every day. He's doing, live remotes. He's getting new microphones he don't even know how to use, by the way. But it don't matter what we're doing, bro. Vito could be freaking parking cars, and he'd be the best car parker created by God himself. And with pride being said, bro, I have a show here. I got a paying audience. It's not a huge paying audience, but it doesn't matter. I got a paying audience, bro. I got people that pay Vito to get my honest opinion. So I'm not going to have an agenda. I'm not going to be looking for my last run and maybe somehow, some way I'll get that call. No, I got an audience that depends on me. They know, hey, listen, whether we agree or disagree with Vince, He's going to be honest. If it gets him in trouble, he's going to be honest with us. This is one of those shows that might get Vince in trouble. But Vito, I want to make this perfectly clear before you get on board.
Okay.
You know, you could be guilty by association, bro. Now, even though what I say may not represent you, the fact that you're on this show with me, you could be guilty by association. Is that okay?
Yeah. I've been guilty with you for 26 years. So Jesus, what's one more time?
All right, Vito. Vito, listen, let's again, I promise you this is a topic nobody's going to discuss, but that's what Getting Color is, and that's why I chose you to do this show, because you are the most honest guy I know. Vito, I was just getting into wrestling. Just getting into wrestling around 1991. Bro, I got into wrestling October of 1991. I'm coming up on my anniversary next month, so it'll be 26 years. And bro, you know, the big steroid trial with Vince McMahon was going on. It was the big thing, bro, back in 1991. Bro, it was on Phil Donahue. It was all over the place, bro. And I'll never forget, bro, when Vince was found, not guilty. I'll never forget, bro, that chest came out. You know, he was the freaking Lion King in the jungle. And, you know, from that point on, bro, he took on the moniker of not even the United States government could beat me. I beat the United States government. He walked around like a peacock, bro, and was very, very proud of that, and let everybody know that. Okay? Fast forward, bro, 26 years. And this is something, bro, that involves Vito very deeply, but we're not going to go into that because that's not what this is about. But bro, it also involves me very deeply. And we are talking about, and you hear me and Glenn talk about this quite a bit. Vito has not really spoken about it that much. Concussions in professional wrestling. Now, it's on the record and it's on the docket that there are a plethora of former WWE employees that are right now in a lawsuit, with Vince, over the subject of concussions. They weren't, educated or warned about the long-term ramifications of wrestling and head trauma and what it could do to you down the road. They weren't educated on this. And now, bro, you got a lot of retired wrestlers that are struggling. Vito, I'll tell you this too, bro. And I don't think he's a part of this lawsuit. Bro, I worked with Tracy Smothers yesterday. Tracy's my age, Vito. Okay, bro, we're the same age. Bro, I assumed Tracy Smothers was at least in his mid-60s. Okay? And, bro, he said to me at one point, because, bro, we had to keep going over the match and keep going over and keep going over it. And he turned to me at one point and he's got nothing to gain. I don't think Tracy's a part of this. But he turned to me at one point. He says, Vince, he goes, please, I want to apologize if I keep going over this. He goes, bro, I've had so many concussions in my career. He goes, I can't remember from 1 minute to the next. You know what I mean? And it was like, I knew that, bro. I knew that. And, I had to tell his opponent too, bro. I said, bro, take it easy with Tracy in there. Guy's still got to make a living. The guy's still a legend. We got to take it easy with him in there. But, he said, bro, I had so many concussions. So it's a hot topic right now, obviously, with the NFL and the new concussion protocol. I swear to God, Vito, people don't talk about this all the time because they always talk about the NFL. Bro, you got to see the protocol Major League Baseball is now taking. Bro, the Giants, my favorite team, the Giants, bro, lost 2 guys this season because of concussion. Bro, one guy got a concussion in May, and he hasn't been back since May. He's not coming back. The other guy got a concussion, bro, sometime in the beginning of June. He ain't coming back. So people don't talk about concussions in baseball, But bro, this is a big thing in professional sports, and like I said, Vince is dealing with lawsuits now pertaining to concussions and his company. You want to say anything at this point?
You're absolutely correct on what you're saying. Go ahead.
Okay, now Vito, I'm telling you, bro. People can think I don't hate Vince McMahon. Here's the one thing that really bothers me about Vince McMahon. I'm gonna be, but it ain't hate. I don't hate the guy, bro. I wish I had a relationship with the guy. Here's the one thing that really bothers me about Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon never gives credit to anybody else. Never. The only time you'll see Vince McMahon give credit to anybody else is when they're dead. I saw he had a very nice tweet today about Bobby Heenan. Bro, there would be no WWE if it were not for Kevin Dunn. I have never, ever, 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 ever heard Vince McMahon sing the praise of Kevin Dunn. There would have been no Attitude Era if it wasn't for JR. Never, ever, 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 ever heard Vince McMahon sing the praises of JR. Bruce Pritchard put his time in at the WWE a very, very, very long time. Never heard Vince McMahon publicly put over Bruce Pritchard. And never, never has he given me or Ed Ferrara an ounce of credit for the Attitude Era. That really bothers me about the man. Because, bro, I really believe when people help you get along the way, you need to put them over. And that's all people want, bro. People just want to feel good about themselves. You realize the good job that I did. It's not about money. It's just about you realizing how hard I worked for you and the sacrifices I made, and I appreciate it. The guy's never put over anybody in his life. I don't like that about him. I don't hate the guy. I don't like that about him.
Well, I got to tell you something. I just want to say something. When people talk about their accolades and they talk about what they've accomplished, something that, I learned in wrestling is you have to be humble and you have to eat that piece of humble pie. Some people don't do it. Some people never eat it. Some people eat it. I, Vito Grasso, have eaten it. But the one thing I do today, and the one reason why I'm able to be liked and I still have friends in the business and guys that I started out in Gleason's gym with, is because these guys respect me because I put them guys over. What I'm telling you guys and people out there is there wouldn't be a Vito LaGrasso, a Skull Von Crush, there wouldn't be Big Vito, Vito the Dress Guy, unless everybody I ever trained with put the time in with me. I was only that good because of the guys who put an effort in. And you know what? I wanted to beat everybody. I wanted to be better than everybody. And anytime I go on a show, I put over the guys who took the time to train with me, all the veterans and legends who took the time to teach me, because I didn't do it on my own. I had help. And people seem to forget success because that also comes with help. And Vince McMahon, he is very successful. The most successful owner probably in the history. He didn't do it alone. Now, I know Bruce Pritchard worked with him for many years, just like JR did. And Kevin Dunn is a big part of that company. Like you said, you've put your time in there. Ed Ferrara did. I'm sure there are quite a few others. Okay, Stephanie has. Shane has. That's Stephanie McMahon and Shane McMahon. And these people have put their time in. And you never hear them give anybody any credit. Vince doesn't put them over. But when you hear Vince is still writing the TVs, and Vince is doing this, and Vince is behind the scenes, and still running the controls, you got to say at one point, like you're saying, you got to give people their credit. And you have to let people know that that you didn't do it alone. I am sure that Linda McMahon has also put her time into this and also assisted in making this WWE a strong company and some place where people can work and make a living. Now, with Stephanie and Shane and Linda and JR and Kevin Dunn and a few other people who work there, like a Vince Russo, it doesn't cost you nothing to give somebody praise. Some people do it, some people don't. Vince McMahon happens not to do it. He
Yeah.
thinks he did it all on his own.
Well, you know what the
But
sad
you
thing
go
is,
ahead,
Vito?
Vince.
I swear to God, and this will always stay with me, bro. I was close to China towards the end of her life, and
I know you were.
I saw her not too long before she passed away, bro. Vito, this is how sad this was, and I was saying this at the time while she was here with us. I was saying this. Her whole push with this documentary and being put in the WWE Hall of Fame. What was that all about? Here's what it was all about, bro. She just wanted to be acknowledged. And like you said, Vito, acknowledging somebody is free. It costs you freaking nothing. It's freaking free. And that's all she wanted, bro. She wanted to be acknowledged that she was a freaking part. And the poor girl had a pass before that ever happened. But my point, the whole point I'm saying that is, I'm not saying what I'm about to say because I hate Vince McMahon. I'm saying what I'm about to say because I'll be honest with you. I think it's a little sick in the head. I really think it's a little sick in the head. So we've got all this going on with concussions, bro.
Okay.
Across sports, and especially in wrestling. Big to do. So now I want to make people out there really understand, because nobody's going to break this down for you. Vito will understand. He's going to understand exactly everything that I'm saying. Understand what I'm saying. Vince does this spot with Kevin Owens. I replayed it back in slow-mo many times, and I have come to the conclusion. At first, I thought Vince bladed himself. After watching it back numerous times, I've come to the educated conclusion that Vince gigged himself beforehand and new-skinned him. Because the way it bled, it kind of came out like in little dots very slowly. When you gig, it's going to come out. That didn't happen. I think Vince gigged himself backstage, put new skin on his head. Okay, now understand what I'm saying. Vito will understand this. Vince is in the middle of a concussion lawsuit. This is affecting people's lives, bro. It affected my life when I got a concussion in the ring because of something I did stupidly. But it's affected my whole life, the concussion I got. One concussion in the ring. Not like these lunatics getting 10, 12, 15. One concussion affected my life. So Vince is being sued. It's a big deal, bro. We're trying to make this a safe environment. So, bro, think about this now. The guy gigs himself backstage, puts a new skin on his head. Now he's in there with Kevin Owens. And, bro, I don't give a rat's ass if Kevin Steen spent 20 freaking years on the indie circuit. When it comes to WWE, this guy is not a seasoned veteran by any stretch of the imagination. I don't care if he put 30 years in the indie scene. He's only been with the WWE for a couple of years. Okay. On top of that, bro, he's in the ring with Vince McMahon for the very first time. So now the pressure is on Kevin Owens. I can't F this up. I'm in there with Vince McMahon. I can't F this up. And, bro, I know Vince like the back of my hand. I know the Vince who wore the banner of "I beat the United States government." I know that guy. And, bro, to him, Vito, in his mind, he's still 52, not 72. Okay? I know the guy. And I know he said to Kevin, bro, there has to be contact in order for me to get. But he said to Kevin, hit me. He said to Kevin, headbutt me. I know he did, bro. I know he did. Because first, bro, a couple of things. And Vito, please correct me if I'm wrong. Bro, when you look at that video frame by frame, Kevin Owens is here, and bro, Kevin Owens strikes back and goes forward. Vito, how hard is that to control? Where you're face to face with a guy, you come back and you go, how difficult is that to stop your freaking forehead 1 millimeter from the other guy's forehead to make it look good? But Kevin Owens couldn't even do that, bro. He couldn't even work the forehead because he had to bust the new skin open. So he had to physically give Vince McMahon a headbutt. Vito, am I wrong on anything I just laid out there?
You are not wrong. It was a definite blow to the head, a head-to-head strike. You know, the top of the forehead to top of the forehead. It was a clean hit. Something that is dangerous to everyone. Concussions are no joke. And when you're dealing with head injuries, they're very serious. They're not to be joked about. Being with the state of wrestling and what's going on right now, him doing that was kind of a slap in the face to a lot of people. A lot of people looked at it. A lot of people noticed it. A lot of people took resentment to it because he was laughing at the situation that he has not under control. It's not under his power, but he's in a situation where he faces, you know, a lot of responsibility to a lot of guys. And by him doing that, he's laughing at all of us.
That's exactly what he's doing, Vito. And let me speak for you because I don't want to get you in trouble. That's exactly what he's doing. Vince McMahon is standing there saying, what are these pansies talking about? What are these wussies talking about? These big burly men, you know, guys like Vito Lagasso and the other 25 people behind him. What are they talking? I'm 72 years old. I just took a headbutt. I'm okay. I'm 72 years old. Look at me. That's exactly what he did. Because let me tell you why, bro. Let me ask you a question, Vito. If that's not what he did, you're going to tell me right there that a kick to the balls by Kevin Owens wouldn't have been more effective?
It definitely would have knocked him down. And at 72 years old, hindsight tells you you shouldn't be taking bumps in the ring. You shouldn't be having any kind of contact with somebody half your age. Jerry Lawler, when he had his heart attack, you know, he's only 60. You know, and things can happen because you get excited, something happens, you don't know. At 72 years old, and you're in there taking bumps because you think you can go. Yeah, everybody thinks they still got it in them. I still think I got it in me. I know what I can do and what I can't do, but I don't boast about it. I don't try to throw it in people's faces. I do what I can. You take care of yourself. You take care of your body as best you can. Take care of your head the best you can. And by him out and out doing that, it just showed reckless abandon.
Vito, if he really can, think about this, bro. Vito, I was in many meetings, you know, on TNA. Bro, when we started learning the effect of headshots to the head. Okay, bro, I was in those meetings. Right. Bro, we sat in those meetings. Now we had some, you know, real evidence of what this does. So, bro, the decision was made rather easily. No more chair shots to the head. End of story. There was no thinking about it. But think about what Vince McMahon did here. Bro, not only is he not telling his locker room and his agents and the boys, no more headbutts. They could no more headbutts. We see what concussion is doing. There's studies by the NFL. It's proven. It's filtered over to baseball. No more headbutts. Bro, not only is he not saying that, which if he said it, nobody would ever do that again. So that's one more dangerous thing we can eliminate. He's doing it himself, and he's laughing at it. And you know what that tells me, bro? It tells me what I always thought and how I always felt. He don't give a shit about the well-being of the wrestlers, bro. He doesn't give a shit about them because you know why, bro? If one of them goes down with a concussion and can't work with one, bro, there's a million waiting in his place. That's the mentality. And the fact, bro, that he's literally laughing in the face of everybody that suffered a concussion and said, what they're dealing with, the trauma, 10, 20 years later, the fact that he's laughing in their face when if he did care, number one priority would be safety to my boys and girls in the ring. That's number one priority. Anything that could be injury to their head, that could cause brain damage or long-lasting consequences should be cut off immediately.
I have a question for you.
Go
I
ahead.
have a question for you. Okay. Now, you were there in the 90s, okay?
Yeah.
And you were part of the writing crew. You worked hand in hand with Vince McMahon. Did they know about concussions in the 90s when you were there? And did you try to stop the head injuries and the headbutts and the chair shots? Did you have that information at your disposal back then?
Vito, I worked there up until 1999, and I can tell you from my standpoint,
right,
we definitely did not have that information, because I'll tell you why, Vito.
Okay.
Vito, like I do, as a writer, bro, I'm writing the shows, and I basically tell the guys the finish that we need, okay? I don't lay out their match for them, bro. I'm not an agent. Okay. But bro, Vito, listen, we all remember this. We all remember The Rock and the Mick match with those unprotected chair shots to the freaking head. Okay, yes. Bro. Vito, I could tell you right now, I did not know they were doing that before. And as a matter of fact, a lot of that was Mick. I mean, that was a lot of when the agents were going in through the match, Mick himself put a lot of that stuff in. Bro, if I would have known then what I knew now, I would have cut such a freaking promo on Mick Foley. He would have probably hated me for the rest of his life. And bro, why would I have cut that promo? Because I cared about him. And because I cared about him as a human being. And to do something like that to himself that could have a long-term effect would be the last thing that I'd want to see. So we weren't equipped with the facts and the research, bro. Now, God, almost 20 years ago that we have today. They have that now, bro. But here's the funny thing, Vito, and give me an explanation for this. They have it now. The NFL invested millions and millions and millions of dollars of head trauma. See, what is it, CTE?
Yes.
Okay. With all that being said, Vito, why has the style in WWE gone to a more strong style than a safe working style? Somebody needs to explain that to me, bro, because you know what, bro? There's going to be more lawsuits and more lawsuits and more lawsuits and more lawsuits. But now that we have this information, how is he's responsible for his company? I don't want to hear Triple H. I don't want to hear anybody else. Now that we have this information, how have we let wrestling get to a freaking strong style where guys that take, bro, every week, bro, Vito, what's the impact of a forearm to the head?
It's pretty stiff because a forearm is one of the hardest parts of your body. And when you get hit with a forearm shot, it's like bone to bone.
Yeah, and Vito, anytime you jar your head, think about a wrestler jarring their head over and over and over again, night after night after night after night. But Vito, explain to me, now that we have this, how are we more strong style instead of safe style?
I don't have an answer for that, and I think it's just going to what they're trying to do is draw ratings. But I will tell you that a study came out about CTE, and it was done by the NFL Research. And what we found out was a publication, and it was public knowledge, that the WWE funded the NFL research along with the NFL. And the reason they did that was to gain the knowledge and the research information so they can have it for their company.
Vito,
I found it very
say,
strange.
Vito, say that one more time because you went out, and that's very important.
Okay.
So I want the people to hear that. Just say that one more time.
Okay. What happened was the WWE help funded the NFL research that came out with the 99% of NFL players get CTE from head trauma and collisions and contact. So if they did that and they spent the money to get the research, why are they not protecting the wrestlers today and doing this? And this was found out in a medical journal that they published. The journal published it. And the way we found out that they funded it was because they had the sponsors on the bottom of it. And who was the sponsor? The Concussion Legacy people and the WWE. And to tell you that there was shock in it because there is denial on CTE in wrestling. If there's denial in CTE in wrestling, why would you fund an NFL study for CTE? I can't answer the fact that there is a lot of strong style and a lot of strong hits to the head still. That's on them. I'm not there. But protecting yourself, guys, that's number one importance. Knowing the information that's out there, that's another importance. Educate yourself. And then we're going to come to a Baron Corbin, who was an NFL football player, who is involved with the concussion lawsuit for the NFL. If he is involved with the concussion lawsuit for the NFL, people, how is he wrestling for the WWE today? Is that a conflict of interest? Are they using him just to use him? You know, aren't they supposed to know what their people are involved with? And because Baron Corbin spoke up in a meeting and defended his rights as an individual and a human being, his push has been derailed. He was going to be a skyrocket superstar. All of a sudden, he lost his money in the bank. He lost to John Cena at SummerSlam, which is no shame. But all of a sudden, all the steam is off him, all because he stuck up for himself. And when you stick up for yourself, guys, people don't like that because they just want you to follow suit and just go along with, what's the protocol for today. I commend Baron Corbin for speaking up because he's protecting not only himself, but he's protecting everybody in the locker room because he's giving them knowledge. And if you've already been through a lawsuit that says, hey, the NFL players have CTE, and you're part of that lawsuit, you do have the knowledge and you do have the know-how and you know what's going on. But when you're blind and you're not being fed the proper information in a certain company, and they're telling you one thing, and somebody has to know and all the science and all the documents behind them, and they're saying, hey, wait a minute. What you're telling everybody is wrong. This is what's going on. And there's a rift, and everybody's doing a double take like, well, how do you know this? Well, I'm involved in the NFL lawsuit for concussions, so that's how I know. I have all the paperwork. I'm involved with it. I have it myself. So now there's a conflict of interest on what's going on because now you have funding for some CTE results. You're not funding it for wrestlers. You're doing other funding to get the knowledge, to get the research for your own files. You're trying to do it in a casual way to say, hey, we're helping the NFL. Hey, we're helping the concussion, the sports legacy program. Well, how about helping the wrestlers? How about doing something for them? How about doing
Vito,
your own research?
Vito, you know what it's like, and I'm sure you, I'm sure you watch this show, bro, because I know you're a lot like me. You know what it's like, Vito. You know the show Cheaters.
Yeah, I love that show,
bro. It's like the sad sack husband who thinks his wife is cheating on him, calls in cheaters, right? So calls in cheaters, pays cheaters, and they're detectives. You know, the guy with the glasses, the whole 9 yards, bro. Joey Greco. They do all their research. They show Guy the videotape of his wife getting banged in a car, in a hotel, at the drive-in theater, all these places. They show him all that proof, and the guy looks at it and says, I think she's being faithful to me. It's literally the equivalent of that, bro. You fund a study. They do the study with the best doctors available, millions of dollars. Here's what we find in our study. It's really not that dangerous. Vito, Vito, like, here's the thing that I say all the time. If you give a shit about your wrestlers, I mean, let's start from square one, Vito. Something this, if you really give a shit about your wrestlers, Vito, you worked out at Gleason's gym, right?
Yes.
I was at Gleason's gym many times, Vito, and Gleason's gym was, half wrestling, well, less than half. 25 wrestling, 75 boxing, a lot of great Golden Gloves champion. Vito, every time you saw the boxers sparring in the ring, what were they wearing?
Headgear.
Bro, why don't guys training at the facility, why aren't they wearing headgear? Why wouldn't you put headgear on those guys, bro, while they're taking bumps in training, especially since they're green? Why wouldn't you? What would it take away, bro, to put headgear on those guys, to protect them while they're green, learning to take bumps, learning to take strikes, and protecting them against head trauma? What would that take, bro, to put those guys in headgear?
Takes nothing but a little, like you said earlier, I give a shit.
Yeah.
Basically.
And Vito, let me tell you what's happening. Let me tell you how this is trickling down. I'm going to set the record straight now. This is why nobody talks to me. And they're not going to talk to you soon, Vito. The dirt sheets that want strong style. They want the guy getting I saw the pile drive from the top rope. Bro, can you imagine pile driving a guy from the top rope? Can you imagine taking a chance like that with somebody's neck? Regardless,
I'm going to tell you, I seen that in Japan. My first match, I tagged with Manny Fernandez. He got mad at one of the Japanese guys. He took the guy off the top rope and he DDT'd him. I seen the guy's neck break. Scariest thing, my first night in Japan. So I can only imagine. Go ahead.
But here's how all this works, guys. And this is why you're not going to get this anywhere else but here. The wrestling media, the Meltzes and the Kellers and the Sherers and all those jackasses, they want strong style, so strong. So basically what Vito just said, well, there was a study by the NFL on CET. These were their findings. This study was funded by the WWE, but yet the WWE is saying, well, they're wrong about a few things. That's not being reported at all. That's not being reported at all by the media that doesn't give a shit about the well-being of these athletes and want that type of wrestling. People don't understand. Vito and I have nothing to gain other than we are concerned about these guys. We know these guys have families. We know these guys have to earn a paycheck. We know how wrestling is, and once they're injured and not worth anything, they're going to be kicked to the curb, and nobody's going to give a shit about them. We know all that. Vito, here's the trickle-down effect, and I didn't really realize it till recently. I was working an indie show recently, bro, and there was one of these, Vito, they're on all the shows now, these 8-men car crashes.
Right.
And a veteran was in the match. And just before he was out to go out behind the curtain, he said to me, bro, he goes, Vince, you have no idea how much I hate these, bro. He goes, I'm being asked to go out there with a bunch of indie guys that are green and put my body on the line and my well-being on the line doing all these freaking crazy things in the ring. He goes, you don't know how much I despise this. And, bro, the guy needs the booking. The guy has to make the money. So at the end of the day, bro, the guy's got to show up at the indie show and do what those indie promoters want him to do. So now, bro, you got a guy that needs the money, doesn't feel comfortable getting in the ring with a bunch of green indie guys doing this stuff, bro, just so he could make a payday. That's the trickle down effect. And let's look at the other side of the coin, bro. What about older guys that are holding on for a payday? And that now this is how the indie scene is becoming with this brand and this style of wrestling. And now an older guy is asked to do something like that shouldn't be doing something like that at his age. This is all about the well-being of these performers, bro. I told you, baseball players, they're missing 2-3 seasons because of concussions. Guys in wrestling miss what, a week or two? Me and Vito have no reason to talk about this unless we gave a shit about the guys involved in this. Go ahead, Vito.
All right, I'm going to give people a scenario here, and I know everybody watched it, and I want everybody's opinion about it. And Vince, I'm going to ask your opinion. Brock Lesnar, I have nothing against him. I think he's a great athlete. I love the guy to death. Goes back to MMA, fights Mark Hunt. He beats him. His steroid test comes up positive. That's right before the pay-per-view where he's supposed to fight Randy Orton. Okay? So now he's got a positive steroid test. And the WWE comes up and says, well, he's a part-timer, so the steroid test doesn't pertain to part-timers. So he doesn't have to follow the rules of full-timers. Okay. He goes in the ring, has a match with Randy Orton. Comes the finish of the match. You know, he gets frustrated, takes the gloves off. Now, I know, and you know, and everybody else knows, hindsight is pretty good. There was something going on in that match that we don't know about. But you don't blatantly try to open somebody up with forearm shots to cut their head open and possibly give them a concussion in the ring. So you saw Randy Orton bleed. There was no foreskin. There was no nothing. This was a legit shoot. So here he is. He's busted open. He does have a concussion. Brock Lesnar does have a steroid rap on him from the UFC. Doesn't get suspended by the WWE for testing positive. Comes to the event. Does this to Randy Orton. Nothing happens. Randy Orton winds up getting 10 to 12 stitches, closes his head, has to take off. It's hidden that he has a concussion, was only doing run-ins to give an RKO, but he had to take a couple weeks off after just getting back from his shoulder injury. So where was the protection for Randy Orton in this match, and where was the protection of the guys to have somebody with a PED, ruling against him, get in the ring and participate in something that's supposed to be, have the rules of everybody following the same rules, not part-timers, not half-timers. If you're a wrestler and you're a wrestler, all the rules are the same. There's no part-time rules. There's no full-time rules. There's one set of rules for everybody. There's no, you can't make different rules for different people. The fact that put somebody in jeopardy, put somebody's life in danger, he did inflict some pain. He drew blood. He opened his head up. So for Randy Orton, what's to say he won't 10 years down the road have an effect from that head injury? Because CTE, you don't know the effects until years later after you have repeated head blows and head trauma to the head and blows to the head. And it's like being in a car crash every day. So if you're wrestling 6 and 7 times a week and you're constantly going and going and going, and you don't have the knowledge, like a lot of people didn't, okay, there's a reason. But if you do have the knowledge and this is allowed to happen, like the McMahon headbutt, the Brock Lesnar Orton forearm shiver where he cracked his head open, where's the go-between? Where's the in-between? Where's the safety? Where's the things that we're looking out for the wrestlers today? You're only looking out for today where Vince McMahon took a headbutt, but what's to say 2 weeks later, he won't have an effect from that. And when you have a concussion, guys, the only way to detect it if you have an MRI or a CAT scan the same day or the day after, because it's fresh. You're able to see it. You can't tell if you wait 3 and 4 years because your brain heals. So if you don't know you've had it, you can't detect it. So unless you have these things taken, these tests done, you don't know what's going on. You can have your bell rung. You can have your eyes might roll in the back of your head. There are different things that can happen to you, during the match. You lose your balance. You lose your equilibrium. You can't stay up straight. Your eyes are rolling around after a big shot. You got to have some safety. You got to have rules. You got to have everything in place. The Brock Lesnar Orton thing, the safety, no suspensions, no nothing. Randy Orton had to take off. Lesnar went off on his, to come back again. And then you have the McMahon Owens. Now, if you're in the middle of a scandal or whatever's going on, and you're doing this, where's the safety and where's the precaution?
Vito, you know what the sad thing is? Vito, let me tell you something about that too, bro. You talk about the concussion and this and that. Bro, freaking Bill DeMott actually told me on one of these shows, Vito, that he lost he had no sight during a match, bro. He was seeing black. He could not see. He was blind. He could not see due to concussions. Vito, think about this though, bro. Think about the is Hardy a word, bro? Hardy. I just invented a new word, Hardy. Bro, think about the Hardy of this, Vito. The same scenario, bro, you just spoke about with Randy Orton. Okay, bro? Think about the Hardy of this. Vito, what if that's a rookie? What if that's a guy that just broke into the WWE 6 months ago, bro? A young guy in his early 20s, not a veteran like Randy Orton, but a guy that just broke into the business, and he was on the other end of that. Think about this, Vito. What are his options? What could he possibly do and say to anybody and still have a job?
You really couldn't say nothing. Your options are limited. You just got to take it, unless they take care of you. They put you, they take you off the road. They pay you. They keep you happy. They keep you, going. There's a lot of things that could happen. I'm not there. I don't know. But hindsight says they're going to keep paying you, tell you have a job, keep you happy, keep you under contract, just so you don't have a problem later on and come back and, do something, lawfully. So, a rookie and not having the knowledge, yeah, you're stuck. Being a veteran and you have the knowledge, you have a choice. Baron Corbin decided to have a choice because he has the knowledge. Got to give the guy some credit. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. Sticking up for yourself and everybody else. Randy Orton, he got messed up. He's been a veteran there. He's got nowhere else to go. Nobody's going to pay him $1 million, $2 million a year. So he went with the protocol of WWE. He's going to retire there. Brock Lesnar, he makes $12 million a year. I really don't think he gives a shit about the WWE. He's collecting a paycheck. He's very good at what he does. The way he looks and acts, he'll go somewhere else and he'll go make some money. He's a businessman. But for the rules and regulations of the safety of wrestling today, guys, you got to take it serious. Guys, you got to look after each other. Guys, look at this. Look at the NFL study that the WWE funded. That tells you something. It's serious. And for all those guys who think are out there and think you have to do these things, you could say no. Because making that $25 or $30 out there, guys, is not worth it. And if you think being a wrestler is doing this hardcore stuff and doing this hard, have to do these high spots with all these guys, take the initiative, have some integrity, work prestigious places, do prestigious things, look out for your health, look out for your safety, Do things that are going to enhance your career, not hurt your career. Think of your health first. And if you're not trained and you're out there doing it, guys, go to a reputable school. Learn safety. Learn how to take care of yourself. It's not easy, guys, and it's not something you want to deal with. And guys who think that they could take a headshot and they could do things, you're mistaken because it catches up to you. I'm telling you from experience.
Vito, I got to tell you, it's a funny thing, bro, because bro, ever since I got my my concussion, bro, I always get I get vertigo quite often, Vito. I get vertigo quite often. And bro, I'll be honest with you, Vito. About 2 weeks ago, actually 2 weeks ago from today, my vertigo kicked in. And, bro, like getting up and down off of a couch, moving my head, bro, the room's freaking spinning. It's the worst feeling in the world. Unless you've been there, you have no idea. So, Vito, I had to referee this match. And Vito, all I'm thinking of is, my God, the going up and down on the match, the head movement of the match, all the shit I have to do, bro. With my vertigo, I'm gonna black out. Like, I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm not going to be able to stand up straight. Bro, really. So, bro, about a week out, I called the promoter and I said, listen, bro, here's the deal. Like, whether you think I'm working you or not, I really don't care. I said, here's the deal, bro. I'm dealing with a severe case of vertigo. I am not going to be able to referee this entire match for you. I said, however, let me give you a plan B that will protect me and make it even better than how you originally had it. And that's what happened. But bro, I'll tell you right now, if the guy would have said no, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it based on what I know and what could have happened. And don't think for a minute, Vince, oh yeah, you wouldn't have done it because Vince Russo doesn't need the money. No, Vince Russo does need the money. But now that I'm educated about concussions and I know what could happen, I wasn't going to do it. All the money in the world wasn't worth me doing it. And Vito, here's the thing that really pisses me off. And I'm sorry, and I'm going to say this. You and I both follow professional sports enough. And, bro, I honestly feel like, bro, maybe before, listen, bro, the NFL, you had to be a tough guy to be in the NFL. So if you got your bell rang, you got your bell rang, but you were a tough guy and you got in there for the next play and nobody said anything. But now we're starting to see guys retire. They can't get out of bed in the morning. They can't think straight. They can't drive a car. They can't feed themselves. So the NFL does all these studies. I honestly feel, bro, when all this knowledge came out, I really do feel like professional sports, they care now. I see key baseball players, stars of teams, missing months when they have a concussion. I really feel that the league cares about their well-being. I feel in football now they care about the well-being. I don't feel that way in wrestling. I honestly feel, bro, like even with all the research done and the facts that we have, they don't care. I honestly feel that way. I mean, my God, in the major leagues, when Bryce Harper gets a concussion, the Washington Nationals aren't saying, screw him. There's a million other people waiting behind him. No, they're concerned about Bryce Harper. They're concerned about his family. They want to make sure he takes as much time as he needs. I don't feel that with wrestling, bro. And I feel a lot of that has to do with these guys not being in a union, being taken full advantage of, and being afraid to say anything. What they need to be afraid of, Vito, is, and you know this better than anybody, what you need to be afraid of is think for a minute and think 10 years ahead when you can't drive a car anymore and your wife's got to go with you to the grocery store and you're forgetting what your son told you 5 minutes ago. Tommy Dreamer has already said that. I heard an interview with Dreamer not too long ago. His wife will say something to him at the kitchen table. 5 minutes, he'll forget what she said. There's nothing worth that, especially when you have the power to prevent that. But they need to know that, Vito, because a lot of them, bro, let's face it, Vito, you were one of those guys too. All wrestlers, all these guys, bro, when you're in your 20s and you're at the gym and you're pumping iron and you're looking great, we're invincible. We're going to be okay. We can do everything. No, you're not freaking invincible. And Vito could tell you better than anybody. Your blood, your flesh, your bones. You're like me. You're no different than anybody else. Bro, Vito, seriously, think about what our bodies were built for. Do you think God created our bodies to be dropped on our heads?
No, and it's like the best way to explain it, guys, is like getting in a car accident every day of your life that you're wrestling. And, I'll tell you something. I have a chin of granite. I was hard as a rock. I felt like I was indestructible. But, my brain isn't that tough. And when you talk about your brain, and like you got your head being scrambled, you feel like your brain is a bunch of scrambled eggs up there. And, feels like that, stuff is moving around up there. And it's kind of scary now that you know everything that you know. And if you had the knowledge back then, you wouldn't know, but nobody educated you. But today, with all the knowledge and everything that's out there, and you still see these guys doing these stupid spots and doing these dangerous things, it shocks me because everybody wants to be a wrestler. They think Vince is going to notice you. Guys, you're only hurting yourselves. Go get a college education. Go get some book things. Not everybody makes it in wrestling. And if you think that wrestling is doing these asinine spots or these triple lindies out through a table and out through, I'm telling you guys, it's going to affect you, not today, but 10 years down the road. And you have something that's going on that's trying to help the wrestlers for tomorrow, something that's very prestigious that's happening today. And just know that there is somebody fighting and trying to get it done. And hopefully one day it's all said and done and everybody's going to benefit from it. So, I mean, you just want that to happen. And you want that, a guy like Baron Corbin who's been on the other side of the ball, then, for him to stand up. And guys, there's been somebody who's been standing up for you guys. And I'm not going to come out and say things, but there is somebody who took a stand and there is somebody who did these things. And you know what? That person is pretty proud of himself because he has the integrity to do these things. And he's not just standing up for himself, but for everybody else. I, Vito LaGrasso, know just about 99% of the wrestlers who have passed away. And what's sad about it is I've been in the dressing rooms, I've been in the locker rooms, I've been on the road, I've worked with them, I've been in the ring with a lot of them. 99% guys, because that's about the list. Sad thing is that Vito LaGrasso one day will be on that list of wrestlers and not here no more. But my mark in the wrestling business is not going to be because I was a great wrestler, I wore a dress, or I did anything. I hope that my mark is going to be for something that I stood for something good and I did something for the benefit of mankind and the industry. And if things work out the right way and the industry changes for the better, a union, benefits and things of that nature, hey, great. I hope it happens. But just know, guys, that you got to take care of yourselves and you got to look out. And if a guy like Baron Corbin, who's on top in the WWE, could stand up and tell you something, he's a WWE present superstar who's standing up for himself. Then you have guys who are standing up for themselves from years before who take that same pride. Just know, guys, that you gotta have some pride in yourself and listen to what these guys are telling you. And the proof is in the pudding. If the WWE is investing in a CTE study, that means they have to have some concern. Why would you invest in a CTE study and get all the information? What are you going to do with it? Throw it in a bonfire, or you're going to use it? You're going to use it. Open your eyes, guys, and, start playing smart ball instead of stupid ball. And for the guys who don't know, go get yourself educated and read up on it. It's a pretty interesting read, I could tell you.
Yeah, and it's like, I swear to God, it's so many things in wrestling, like always go back to logic. Like when I would get stuck creatively, I would always go back to logic. And I would always say, okay, what's logical? Guys, think about it logically. Think about your body. Okay, think about your body. Think about the way you were created. Okay, bro, we got arms. I can throw a punch. I can hit somebody with my fist. I can hit somebody with my elbow. Okay, we got legs. I can kick somebody. I can knee somebody. Okay, bro? Bro, I got a head. What's in my head? My freaking brain is in my head. My brain is to think. My brain is to control everything that my entire body does. That's what the brain's for. That's what the head's for. Why do you think, bro, in boxing, they punch each other in the face? They punch each other in the face so they can knock you out. That's why you get punched in the face, bro. So you could get knocked out. This is a work. Wrestling is a freaking work. And your head was not your head was not put on your shoulders to be used as a weapon or to be dropped on. That's not obviously not that's what's there for. And here's the funny thing about it, bro. Here's the funny thing about it. And it's not really funny, but your brain is put in your head to think. And guess what, bro? You don't think. So what do? You use your brain as a weapon. You headbutt people. Okay? You get dropped on your head. You get dropped on your neck. Then guess what, bro? All of a sudden, my brain doesn't work the way it used to work because I used my head in a way I wasn't supposed to use it. Duh. I mean, bro, is this not black and white to everybody? See, I don't care how much money they pay you in wrestling. This is freaking logic, bro. This is black and white logic. That's not how you were built. That's not how you were made. And this is something, Vito, explain to people. Because, Vito, I've only had one concussion. Vito, please explain to people. You break your arm, Vito, they put your arm in a cast. You break your leg, they put it in a cast. 6 to 8 weeks, it's healed, bro. The cast comes off. Vito, they don't put a cast on your head. When damage is done to the brain, it's permanent freaking damage. It's healed, but guess what, bro? Now you have a new scar on your freaking brain. That doesn't get fixed with the cast or with medicine. I don't think people freaking understand that, Vito.
People don't understand it because it probably didn't happen to them. They didn't take it seriously, or they don't have the knowledge. And if you had the knowledge, you definitely would think twice before you did any of this. And, like Vince said, you look at the Vince McMahon spot with the head injuries that are going on in wrestling, the NFL, baseball, basketball, and everything, taking a blatant headbutt to the head. What's to say if he broke his nose or he got knocked out? He had a convulsion, taking a chance, an unnecessary chance. You have all the research, you have all the knowledge. Why take that chance? Is getting an angle over worth more than your health and your family? Is making money or ratings worth more than your health or your family? You might be the owner of a company and you want to do what you got to do, but what you're showing is, reckless abandon, and you got to take some kind of constructive, how would you say, constructive way of motivating the people to do a good job, not going out there and taking a risk that can hurt you permanently.
Vito, think about this, bro. We didn't even touch upon this, and maybe we talk about this more next week because I don't want to be long-winded. Vito, we didn't even touch upon this. Okay, bro? Bro, they're PG-13, right?
Right.
Right? They're family-friendly, right, Vito?
Yep.
Right? Cancer's cure, bro. Connor's cure. We care about the sick kids, right, bro?
We do.
Right? Vito, what's easier for a kid to do? If he's standing there on the freaking playground, a 7-year-old is there with another 7-year-old, and they're face to face with what's the easiest wrestling move a kid could do? Well, I just saw Kevin Owens give Vince McMahon a headbutt.
That's
You see
it.
what
You
I'm
lead
saying,
by
bro?
example.
You see what I'm
Lead
saying,
by
bro?
example.
Can you imagine kids seeing that and doing that? But they're PG-13. We care. We're family friendly. You're family friendly, bro. Bro, if it's a wrestling move, a kid's got to figure that out. A kid's got to figure out how to put on a sharpshooter, or a kid's got to figure out, how to put on a figure four or whatever. A kid don't have to figure out a headbutt, bro. A headbutt is I strike with my freaking head. It's that simple. Can you imagine the damage to freaking kids? It was
And that's
just
what people need to realize.
yeah, Vito. Here's the bottom line. It was not necessary. It was not freaking necessary, bro. They did it to make a point. But what about the other side of that coin? But we could talk about this forever. And Vito, listen, I appreciate you because, bro, what you have to share based on your experience is freaking important. And you know what, bro? There are people that are going to listen, and there are people that aren't going to listen. But I'll tell you one thing, those people that aren't going to listen, 10 years from now, they're going to be wishing they did listen because like I said, and like Vito could tell you, bro, there's no medicine you could take, bro. There's no shot in the head you can get. You're going to have it, and you're going to deal with it for the rest of your life.
It's called dementia and Alzheimer's, and that's what you have to look forward to.
Yeah. All right, Vito, tell us where we can find you. Tell us everything going on, bro.
All right, guys. I know you got the YouTube channel at the Big Vito Brand. Guys, go to the YouTube channel. I got some good videos up there. It's the Big Vito Brand on YouTube. Subscribe. It's free. ProWrestlingTees.com/the Big Vito Brand. I have some great shirts up there. Go buy some merch. That's the ProWrestlingTees.com/the Big Vito Brand. Go out there and grab yourself a t-shirt. We got Twitter, Big Vito at the Big Vito Brand. Guys, go and give it a follow. It's a good read. I put some positive things up there. Go to Facebook at the Big Vito Brand. Some good things up there, guys. I'm telling you, every day is something new for me. Instagram at the Big Vito Brand. Guys, a lot of good stuff goes on there. A lot of pictures. Go see my videos. Go see the t-shirts. I'm always doing something interesting. Check out my Q&As on Facebook. They're live, baby, live. We get some good people coming in and some good conversations, good questions. A lot of people interested. And don't forget to check out Getting Color. It'll be on tomorrow. We're taping tonight, so all you people listening to this tomorrow, remember, listen to it today. Go to the brand, the Vince Russo brand. Get it while it's hot. We got to put a shout out to Kenny Shake and Bake Bolin. He's new here. He's the rookie. He's the new coffee guy. And of course, we got Jeff Lane, the producer. Kenny Shake and Bake Bolin. That's it. The Kenster. I'm telling you, Vin, this has been a great show.
All right,
I love
Vito.
putting the plugs. Hey, listen, Vin, I appreciate the conversation. And, you did that. You told me about your big match yesterday. I already read about it on Facebook. I knew what you did. Isn't that guy Chase Stevens the new heavyweight champion? He beat Tracy Smothers?
No, not Chase Stevens. My boy C.J. O'Doyle, bro. C.J. O'Doyle, everybody.
All right, C.J. O'Doyle. All right.
All right, Vito.
C.J. O'Doyle.
Thanks for joining me. I'm going to let you go while I do some housekeeping. But, bro, very, very, very important podcast. Thanks a lot, bro, for your openness.
All right, guys. Listen, everybody have a great night. And listen to this. And go to the Big Vito Brand. This is Big Vito signing off. Peace out, people.
All right, Big Vito, everybody. As always, man, one of the most honest guys I know. That's why he's been a friend for 26 years. And I'm telling you, bro, man, if I knew then what I knew now, yeah. But I didn't, and I paid a price. Hey, listen, I want to tell everybody, check out collarandelbowbrand.com. It's Al Snow's new apparel company, collarandelbowbrand.com. If you use the code word Russo, you will save 10% off of your order. I also wanted to tell you that try the new Podcast One app. Download the all-new Podcast One app now in the App Store or on Google Google Play, the App Store or Google Play. I also wanted to tell you guys, try out the Realm Network. I'm telling you, bro, there's going to be changes. There's going to be big changes coming to the Realm Network where you're going to want to be a member. You got an opportunity. Uncle Vince is giving you a heads up. I'm telling you, bro, you're going to want to be a member. I'm trying to tell you something I can't really tell you, But go now to realmnetwork.com, $2.95 a month, bro. You get 5 podcasts a week. It comes to something like 75 cents a week, something ridiculous, but it really helps support us and our show. Or you could also go to russosbrand.com. I will be back tomorrow with That's Life. There's a lot I want to talk about. Take care, everybody.